As you may know by now, we here at CinemaSins take mental health seriously, which is why we continue to talk about BetterHelp, the sponsor of today's video. BetterHelp offers you a platform to connect with a therapist that cares through their easy, flexible to use, and affordable platform. There are 30,000 licensed and experienced professional therapists available remotely, and if the therapist you initially match with isn't the perfect fit, you can request a new therapist until you find your best fit at no charge. Your sessions can be text, video, chat, or phone, giving you all the options you need to make the step toward mental health even easier. Talk to someone today about your life and enjoy a discount when you use our link listed below. Try BetterHelp today by going to betterhelp.com/cinemasins and get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/cinemasins. "37 seconds of logos! So how much do you have to hate yourself to become the best assassin in the world?"
Before me, there were no created things, but those that last forever.
I don't know what he's quoting, but I am pretty sure he's performing here for himself and not for Wick's benefit. We once again have to worry about whether or not a dog is going to die in one of these movies, and I'm fucking tired of all these movies giving me this much anxiety.
You ready, John?
Is John ready to step into a hexagon of fire King created to get a suit King is holding on the other side? Why would John ever need to be ready for that? So Wick is riding after three people here who seem very afraid of him, and that's fair. I would be afraid of him too. But he's going after the Elder. That's the only guy above the high table. Why doesn't his security and he himself even keep an Uzi on hand at all times?
And the only way John Wick will ever have freedom or peace now or ever is in death.
High table shadowing. Chekhov's peace and freedom. Wait, this guy. Like they would ever kill John Wick. Also, I feel like if the high table did a bit more of the high and a bit less of the table, they might be a bit more chill. How do you travel with an hourglass and a briefcase and pull it out with all the sand on one side? That defies physics. This 2-hour, 41-minute movie sure has a lot of fucking cityscape B-roll. Structurally, there is no need for this many columns, so I'm guessing they're decorative? Which is weird, because they are so ugly and view-obstructing. Is this a stealth Banksy installation making a commentary on the ugliness of modern structural design aesthetic? Seriously, look at all these security guards standing stoically. I guarantee you they are currently thinking, it would be so much easier to protect this guy's ass if there weren't so many goddamn columns in this room. Get a load of this tiny penis office, holy shit. Have you ever seen an office more interested in convincing you that its occupier has a huge dick? That's a 4-story glass window wall right there, with motorized shutters. This entire room is easily 5,000 square feet. Shouldn't everyone want to kill this f***er? So the Marquis also has a sand timer that was, I'm guessing, turned over at the exact moment Shawshank turned his over? That's weird.
My father used to say, how you do anything is how you do everything.
Pennywise's morphing abilities made so much more sense than what Barbarian just said. In fact, the plot of Barbarian made more sense.
Second chances are the refuge of men who fail.
Sure, but don't all men fail?
We're not here because of John Wick.
Cool, can we go ahead and roll the credits then?
Sand in that glass is merely an echo of my remaining patience.
You were only very recently handed the high table powers. How did you lose your patience inside of 12 hours?
Should have been me.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Having two receptionists with no way to tell which one is the boss of the other one. I had two receptionists once, and they argued with each other so often they ended up making out and taking each other's clothes off and... What's that? Yeah, I made the whole thing up. Why did they print John Wick's name in Braille on a card and make him read it instead of just using words to say John Wick out loud? They're not trying to keep the name hidden from all the hench people in this room. They go on to talk about him openly the rest of the movie.
She stays in your room.
However, I'm just going to hand you a room key and not tell you what room you're in and hope you can figure it out yourself. All the high-profile hotels do this, I promise. If there's an open contract on Wick, then why did Kane have to be pulled out of retirement and hired specifically to kill John Wick?
We've done nothing to offend the table.
Would you two please quit drumming for 5 goddamn minutes?
君の安らぎを見つけたのか?
I thought this guy knew John Wick really well.
Friendship means little when it's convenient.
That sounds deep, but I'm not sure it is. Plenty of friendships are formed out of sheer convenience, like with coworkers and neighbors.
みんなに出させて。腕とないように。
That sentence is an oxymoron, lady. I almost made a crack earlier about how huge the kitchen is, but now I see that it is both a kitchen and a weapons depot.
The table has reason to believe that this facility is providing services ut qui excommunicantur.
This movie is 6.9% the word excommunicado. Even with the higher ground advantage, this is still a bad case of bringing bows and arrows to a gunfight. Either the bullshit ability to catch an arrow in the dark, or there still being enough light in the hotel to allow this to happen.
Get out.
I love that Koji thinks this will work, but also, Koji thinks this will work. Oh no, it's the grabber! Why does everyone in this movie have bulletproof clothing, but the SWAT-type guys wear Halloween masks that are incredibly un-bulletproof and un-arrowproof? The doorbell devices Kane uses are a fun gimmick, but A, he didn't need them when he fought everyone prior to this moment, and B, he never uses them again. Only Donnie Yen could make a live-action version of the Popeye punch work. Even the movie Popeye couldn't pull this off. And now you've made me think of that day my dad gave me the option of seeing Popeye or Flash Gordon, and I chose Popeye. Man, kids are stupid. You know, a lot of this movie leaves me wondering how many people on Earth have hand-eye coordination reflexes that are faster than bullets, because everyone in this movie has that, and it feels disproportionate. Does she really need to stab him this many? Why did you take up 50% of your staircase with fucking pulsing neon light fixtures? I appreciate the aesthetic beauty of this fight scene, but why does this room exist? Why are there dozens of partial boxes of glass extraordinarily lit by inlaid neon bulbs? Some of the room has museum shit in it, but most of it is this empty shit. Like, do you think you're gonna grow into this space over time? And even if you do, why are you only building half the cubes needed to house your future museum shit? Those are called f*** you bullets. None of this glass cuts or impedes John in any way, and it should have f***ing done both. This is a really well-done action sequence, but it's also a lot of wash, rinse, repeat. This movie has no business being almost 3 hours. You could have cut this scene in half, and it still would have been the same amount of awesome. John Wick is ultimately a lucky motherfucker that these enemies keep attacking him 2 or 3 at a time. Jesus. It's like they didn't even know who they were trying to apprehend. At least Agent Smith in Reloaded sent everyone. Kind of a bitch move for Kane to wait until Wick is already battle depleted to attack him.
John?
Kane.
Abel. All the glass in here is bulletproof, like they expected gunfights.
John. Kane.
Abel. I don't really understand what they are basing the monetary value of each bounty on, but I find it hard to believe that if they have any get up to 20 million, that they would ever have a bounty set as low as 15K. Did that guy just jaywalk? I'd give all the sins back right now if the gator from X and Pearl swam up and chomped these motherfuckers like they were breakfast tacos.
I'll be waiting for you.
I appreciate how many of this movie's characters know exactly what their fates will be. I'm envious, actually. What are the odds this gal ends up here on this same train car as Wick? I'm being serious.
My father is dead because of you.
Oversimplification.
John needs to know the breadth of what's coming at him.
John's got a marker on his head, which he's had for 2 movies now. I feel like he's well aware of what's coming. I like Winston, and I'm glad Winston is in this sequel, but they still could have come up with a more interesting way to include him. If your practice stables need 15 or more opulent chandeliers, then you are a dickhead.
They failed to see how laying waste to Continentals is getting you closer to killing John Wick.
This campaign is not to kill John Wick. It is to kill the idea of John Wick.
He is doing an odd accent that does not feel natural, and I am scrutinous. Also, how does blowing up hotels kill the idea of John Wick? If anything, it seems like you're just creating more John Wicks, since you're giving a lot more people the same sense of desperation that Wick has.
How were you able to locate him?
I don't understand why nobody's ability to locate John Wick matters to Marquis. He already has Kane hired to take John out, and Kane had no issue tracking him down.
You can pull the knife out, or you can pull your hand out. One shows me a man committed only to himself, and the other, a man committed to the cause.
Although one way also gives you a hitman with the use of only one appendage, and not sure how that's great for business.
Winston. Jonathan.
Abel.
Challenge him to single combat.
That's a thing he can do? Do you realize how many times prior to now he could have used that fucking advice? God, you are a dick.
I don't sit at the table.
Your family does. Get them to issue the challenge and then offer you up as proxy.
The rules in the world building of the society can be really interesting at times, but it can also feel like they're just making up rules as they go along, depending on what they need to service the story at that given moment. Is John Wick not smart enough to know when he's being followed? Or does he know this guy will eventually team up with him later, so he's not worried about it? I don't like these folks here. They have an entire room just for judging and slowly hanging people. Look, as a person with significant hearing loss who speaks none of these foreign languages in this movie, I do not need subtitles to be flashy or stylish. That is actually more distracting, if I'm honest.
And the crest.
Harkan first, then we talk.
Awesome, another side quest. F the length of this movie.
I am Klaus.
Discount Groot. Did they build a modern nightclub inside an ancient historical building? Because that seems disrespectful. Movies have a long, sad history of giving villains disabilities, and the John Wick franchise continues that tradition with asthma jokes. Why would anyone agree to play poker with a man that is clearly about to cheat at poker?
4 9s and a 4.
I know Kane is an amazing individual, but the cards aren't braille, and he's blind, so there is no way he would know what he had.
Oh, your flash.
What the f***? I have poker friends that will come burn my house down if I don't stop here and thrash this shit. The odds of a royal flush are 649,739 to 1. Slicing someone's neck open with a playing card. Kill! He yells kill, and the dog beelines directly to one specific henchperson. Not the club owner, not John Wick, not Kane, just a random dude. So what voice command would he have to give the dog to get it to attack a specific person? Or does he just always let the dog decide its own victims? A man runs through with a gun and none of these dancers flinch. Is this a commentary on dancing being all-consuming? Or about how many people in dance clubs are on drugs? Holy shit, this nightclub has 24 waterfalls people can walk under. This is either super wasteful or are they just repumping the same water back through the falls, which would be super diseaseful. John Wick, and more importantly his back, survives this. The suit stops bullets, but I don't think it has any built-in spinal fracture repair capabilities. John has been fighting Harkin's men for at least 5 minutes now. Why did the rest of Harkin's men wait so long to attack Kane and Mr. Nobody? Not! Yentl, Prince of Tides. Oh, sorry, I thought we were just naming Barbra Streisand films. Also, imagine having your nuts gnawed on right before you got shot in the head. You are lucky. And you obviously haven't seen the previous 3 films. Hey, isn't this the part of the prison where Tango and Cash escaped from? Why are hench people still attacking John even though their boss appears dead? Do they still think they're getting paid? That's adorable. I'm not sure I understand how a gold tooth would prove that John killed Harkin. Oh, now the dancers leave. What was different in the last minute and a half than what had happened in the previous 10 minutes? Why do so many groups and societies require pain as part of entry? I think that says a ton about our nature, and also the reason we want to belong to groups, and what our base self-esteem says about us. Wasting vodka. Having to watch Winston take every goddamn step in this museum. These guys play the most confusing game of dominoes I've ever seen in my life.
You are a killer.
Aren't they all, though? That's kind of what this whole f***ing organization is about. This is not nearly as profound a statement as the Marquis thinks it is. I'm having a really hard time understanding why he was sent by the table to fix anything. He eats cake and sips coffee really well, though.
An orphan we plucked from the street.
You are half Wick's age, pretty boy. You didn't pluck him from anything. Stop including yourself in shit that happened when your father was in the Navy.
A nomination.
It is his right.
The f*** you say? The old rule allows the duel, but also allows the challenged to substitute someone for himself or herself? I can understand if said party was injured or seriously ill, but there's nothing wrong with the Marquis. Why does he get this kind of out? Someone had to set up all these chairs and light all these candles, and I bet they are credited as assistant prop helper junior instead of person who did most of the work on this scene.
Trusting your fate to a blind man?
Tell me you've never seen Kane fight without telling me you've never seen Kane fight.
There are 3 types of men in this world. Those who have something to live for, those who have something to die for, and those who have something to kill for.
But honestly, the killing could be exactly the something that the man who has something to live for is referring to. Not to mention the man who has something to die for could also be the man who has something to live for's attempt at killing the man who has something to die for. Do you see what I'm getting at? That's a serious question because I have no idea and neither does this movie.
I have a feeling Mr. Wick will never make it to the duel by sunrise.
Cheating!
All right now. For all you boppers out there in the City of Lights, for all you street people with an ear for the action.
Even the loyalist of listeners doesn't have the radio on at all times, and sometimes they might have it on a different channel. So how do they know whom or how many assassins will even be listening to them at any point of the day? This seems like a really shitty way of communicating markers to people if you want immediate action to be taken on them. Also, if Wick has requested the duel and the duel has been accepted, how can the Marquis still raise the marker for Wick and send more hitmen after it? That doesn't seem like it would be fair or go along with the old law.
Loving husband. That's what I want on mine.
John tells Winston what he wants on his tombstone, even though if John loses the duel or gets killed before, Winston will be in a grave right beside him and unable to follow through on John's request.
Our man in black has been spotted in the 7e arrondissement. I think it's high time we paint him red.
We wouldn't dare play the music, but the sin is having to listen to a French version of a Rolling Stones song or just simply having to listen to a Rolling Stones song. Lots of bullets are going to fly over the next several minutes, and very few will hit John. And we will be wondering how any of these f***os got their assassin card when they can't kill one lousy person. I don't care if he is f***ing John Wick. He's not immune to bullets to the face. And even a Kevlar-coated suit would still have some kickback if hit. He steals a car and some shit happens and I'm clueless and everyone but me is cheering and what the f***? John is not driving in the same direction as a lot of these cars, and there are enough cars in the thick of all this that it would be impossible for him to not get hit by at least one. It's almost as if the majority of the cars are CGI, but that's just silly. John is able to hit all these men even though half of them are actually behind car doors and or in their cars, but John doesn't get hit by one of them, even though they all have clear shots at him since he's missing the driver's door on his car.
Now, who's gonna be our big winner?
I would give all the sins back if someone answered this with Mikey. Mikey's the big winner. Why is no one paying attention to the cars coming at them? I know you want your bounty, but goddamn, use some peripheral vision once in a while. Convenient motorcycle is convenient.
Fine. You have a deal.
All right, 35 it is.
That wasn't our deal.
And even if it was, nobody has not given Marquis any reason to make him think he's better suited to kill John Wick than anyone else who's tried. And there are still a ton of assassins left. Why is this phone conversation? He hangs up the phone here, but where is the phone line? There 100% has to be a line running from this phone to a phone outlet. Is that a cellular phone that someone has made to look like an old-timey rotary phone? Okay, campers, it's time for one of the coolest action scenes ever made as the camera goes overhead and the action takes on a hypnotizing video game look, and I am absolutely taking a sit off. Sure, there are cuts in this fight scene, but not 3 per second. The film lingers on shots for several seconds before cutting. Why can't Marvel do this? This scene is for Marvel. Oh, come the f on. I'm ready to call it. John Wick's bulletproof suit is an unfair advantage. This climb to the church reminds me of all the most difficult levels of video games I've played over the years and gives me all the same anxieties. Oh, come the f on! Oh, come the... Dude, what the f have you been waiting for? Were you reading a book?
You can't trick me.
Why can't he? What are the f***ing rules? How can Hollywood de-age Harrison Ford, but they can't use CGI to make a sunrise that looks remotely real? Making people drink alcohol before they start firing guns at each other.
30 paces.
Considering they don't get the bullet until they've walked 30 paces and are in the right spot, why not just start in that spot and save the 30 paces bullshit?
Remember your daughter.
F off.
Oh my god. Objectively, this movie has no business being 2 hours and 41 minutes long. God damn.
Our business here now is concluded.
But no one's going to suggest Wick and Kane get to a hospital and get those gunshots looked at, because I'm not sure how them getting their lives back is all that rewarding if they have just as much of a chance to bleed out. Abel. Man, that's super sad. You know, until they decide to make a John Wick Chapter 5 and retcon all this bullshit. It makes for a better shot for all the grass to be green, but this means that these two planned to meet here months after John was buried, which seems odd.
Das Vidania, mój syn.
Wait, is that literal? Or like Wick's death, is it meant as a tease that could ultimately go either way?
$1 million.
Action Man? Who the hell's that? Oh my god, no, it's John Wick.
Mr. Wick. To what do I owe the pleasure?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
I don't know what I hate wearing worse. Your face or your body?
I don't believe we've had the pleasure of your company before, Mr.
Salas. Will Salas.
I was asking whose flag you were under.
The famous Cocksuckers Brigade.
Is that so?
Command of the All-Whore Detachment.
Dear God, make me a bird so I can fly far, far, far away from here.
Last words, Winston?
Just have fun out there.
Well, you're a shit at motivation.